Craig, you did a great job setting us up for this print yesterday when we spoke to you. And we talked about how the idea that even though a lot of analysts value this company not necessarily as a company that sells cars, cars are still really important. So a disappointing quarter when it comes to, or a disappointing month when it comes to sales, that still has an effect on Tesla's business, even if it has big ambitions beyond autos.
Yeah, I mean, this is still what pays the bills, right? Everyone is excited about robo-taxis. They're excited about humanoid robots, but those are still really concepts. And we don't have a robot, actually, that Tesla is selling. And it doesn't sound like they're particularly close if you're following Musk's, sort of daily missives on X. The expectations here weren't all that high, and they were trending lower. And so to see them miss by a fairly substantial margin is a big disappointment. And when you compare what some of the peak quarters have been for Tesla, where they've come close a couple of times to 500,000 vehicles in a quarter, this is a really big letdown relative to those sort of loftier levels.
The company facing a lot of headwinds here in the U.S. regarding EV tax credits and policy changes, and not excitement from this White House when it comes to EVs, but also challenges outside the U.S. where Elon Musk is not viewed necessarily favorably, and with growing competition from China. How does Tesla turn itself around before it gets to that point where it doesn't rely on autos to generate cash?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, I think there is some hope that this Cybercab that is supposed to start production this quarter will be helpful in that it at least is a new product. I think this is a company that has a bit of a tired lineup. They've changed over the Model 3 and Model Y, but they're not all that different from the way they looked when they first came out. And so this two-door smaller car could be interesting to people, but is it actually ready to be put on roads without a steering wheel or pedals? I think a lot of regulators are going to have some doubts given the challenges that the company has had with what it markets as full self-driving. And so there are, again, all of these hopes as well that the humanoid robot business has a lot of promise. But this is still very much a case of a prove it in terms of whether or not that's actually going to be a business that analysts can sort of wrap their heads around anytime soon.